Columbina is the newest Hydro 5-star character of Genshin Impact. She releases in version 6.3, or also called Lunar 4, and she specializes in lunar reaction buffing from off-field. These lunar reactions include Lunar Charged, Lunar Bloom, and the upcoming Lunar Crystallize. And this video will give you the best and most straightforward guides to building Columbina. And if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Enjoy. With the new update around the corner, Columbina represents a fresh era to the game. She brings an interesting playstyle, and she has versatility like never seen before. Okay, fine, maybe not never, but it's still very unique. So let's start off with her talents. Normally, Columbina's normal attacks scale off of attack percent, which is not recommended for her. However, she also uses a charged attack that scales off of her max HP, and it utilizes a mechanic called Verdant Dues. And like most Hydro characters, HP percent is one of, if not the, most important stat for Columbina, so she will ascend with it. So it is important to level her up to level 90, as this will maximize her HP. And as always guys, I got your back, so I already made a short on how to build or pre-farm Columbina on my TikTok and on my YouTube short, so make sure to have a look. At this point, you're probably wondering, Randy, what is Verdant Dues? Well, Verdant Dues is a mechanic that a character like Lauma uses to dish out more DPS or damage. And in Columbina's case, triggering Lunar Bloom fills up Verdant Due. And once filled up, you can use Columbina's charge attack to also deal Lunar Bloom damage. So a couple things to keep in mind guys, this does not consume stamina. It can be spammed as long as you keep consuming Verdant Dues. It doesn't apply Dendro or Hydro, and this mechanic was specifically designed with Lauma in mind, so it can be used with her for extra damage. Overall, the normal attacks do not need to be leveled, as they deal low damage and do not contribute greatly to her kit. Moving on to her elemental skill. Her skill applies and deals Hydro damage that scales off her HP. This happens once every 2 seconds and applies 1 gauge of Hydro to the enemy, and can generate anywhere from 1 to 2 elemental particles. The elemental skill lasts for 25 seconds, and it has a cooldown of 17 seconds. Her skill has a mechanic called Gravity Ripple, and this slowly fills up when party members trigger lunar reactions. Now, I'm not sure if it's lunar reactions specifically or just elemental damage, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. And once this is full, a gravity attack will hit the opponent with a lunar reaction that corresponds with the elements that was used to fill up the gravity ripple. And keep in mind, these elements can only be Electro, Dendro, or Geo because of the lunar reactions. The elements used to deal damage fill up 20 of the 60 gravity ripples over 2 seconds, meaning it takes up to 6 seconds for it to fill up. Once the gravity ripple is filled up, it will deal a lunar reaction damage based on the elements that did the most damage before it was filled up. So say for example you used Electro characters to deal a lot of damage, then the lunar reaction that will be unleashed on the enemy through Columbina's elemental skill will be Lunar Charged. But if you use Dendro to deal the most damage, then the Gravity Ripple will deal Lunar Bloom damage. Another thing to keep in mind is that Ascendant Gleam actually increases her skill's radius, but if you do not have Ascendant Gleam, then her radius will be that of a melee character. If you want more information on the difference between Ascendant Gleam and Nascent Gleam, then I will make a separate video on that. So please make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Now let's talk about her Elemental Burst. Her Elemental Burst deals a single instance of damage that scales off of her max HP, or 48% of her max HP. It applies 2 gauges of Hydro and creates a massive lunar domain. This domain buffs lunar reaction damage by 40% for all party members. It lasts for 20 seconds with a cooldown of 15 seconds. Her elemental burst also costs 60 energy, so keep that in mind for the next segment. And as you can tell, her elemental burst is her main selling point because of the massive buff that it gives to lunar reactions. 40% is a lot, guys. So if you're thinking about leveling her talents, I would beg you to level up her elemental burst first and then her elemental skill. Now you can also level up her normal attacks as you see fit, because it can also be useful for Columbina drive teams or mainly for Lunar Bloom teams, where she is acting as the main DPS or the drive for that team, or the main hydro applicator. Now, Columbina also has some useful passives. Her first Ascension passives gives her 15% crit rate, which means that you do not have to build as much crit rate as you would another character because of her passive. Her second passive increases her burst effectiveness as it further buffs all lunar reactions within it. Lunar Charged and Lunar Crystallized get a 33% chance to hit the enemy again, dealing more overall damage. So say for example you deal one instance of, 26k Lunar Charge damage. Well, this passive actually allows you to hit a second instance of Lunar Charge damage right after the damage that you just dealt. So instead of just 26k damage, you're actually dealing 52k damage, which is insane. Now, Lunar Bloom will give the team Moonridge Dews, which works together with Vernant Dews for consumption. A character like Laoma can consume this to dish out damage as explained previously. Her third Ascension passive can trigger all 3 reactions and increase their base multipliers based on her max HP. And her fourth Ascension passive can revive a fallen characters as long as they're in Nodcry. So don't worry guys, Barbara isn't out of the picture yet. Now moving on to artifacts. As previously mentioned, Columbina scales off of HP, but, and there's always a but, lunar reactions also need elemental mastery to deal a lot of damage. So yes, HP should be the priority. So if you're building artifacts, sands and goblets, you will need your HP on Columbina. Elemental mastery can be saved for the substats. As for the crown, depending on what you're doing with Columbina, you may need HP percent or crit rate / damage. HP is good if you want her purely to be a off-field support, but you may need to build crits if you plan on making her your main drive or main DPS. For artifacts, you can use Obeyed of Morningstar and Moon for 80 elemental mastery and 20 to 40% more lunar charged reaction damage for the entire team. This is a new artifact set, so you can't really pre-farm that right now, but it will be available for the new region. Well, not the new region, the new patch, sorry. You can also use Silken Mood's Serenade, which gives 20% energy recharge and 60/120 elemental mastery, as well as 10% more lunar reaction damage for the entire team. Tenacity of the Millilith gives 20% HP and 20% attack to all party members, and can also give you 30% shield strength. Another good one is Noblesse Oblige, as it gives 20% elemental burst damage to Columbina only, and 20% attack to the entire team. And yes guys, attack percent is also good, but only for the main DPS in that specific reactions team. So for example, Nefa and Flynn's both benefit from the attack percent buffs. Now because she scales off of HP, you can also mix and match HP sets. So for example, you can do 2 Tenacity of the Millilith and 2 Vukarasha's Glow. This will give you 40% HP, and you can use them if you have better substats on them than you would have on a full set. Now, if you're a beginner and you just started Genshin, there's actually an amazing set that you can use for Columbina. It's a set that every single player should have really, but it's called Instructors, and it gives you 80 elemental mastery and up to 120 elemental mastery for the entire team. That is huge. So if you're a beginner, I would definitely recommend you start farming that right now. You can find it literally anywhere in the world. And if you've made it this far, guys, first of all, I appreciate you. And if this video gets 100 likes, I will release a constellation video for Columbina, where I will basically talk about each constellation and how you can build her based on the constellation that you have. Because yes, some constellations require completely different builds. So if you get Columbina and don't know how to build her with the constellations that you have, please drop a like so I can help you out and make a video on how you can build her with the constellations that you have. Moving on to Columbina's weapons. Now, obviously, Columbina's best in slot weapon will be her signature weapon. And let me tell you guys, her signature weapon is probably the best looking weapon I've ever seen in this game. It is absolutely beautiful. I mean, just look at this. She's literally wielding the moon itself. It's chef's kiss, man. I love this. I love everything. Oh, man, it's so good. It's called Nocturne's Curtain Call. It increases her HP by 10, 12, 14, 16, or 18% after triggering a lunar reaction or dealing lunar reaction damage. It also gives her up to 16 energy. And that's not all, guys, because it can even increase her crit damage by up to 140%. Now, I'm not sure if this is the R5 version that I'm reading, but it completely sounds busted because the weapon stat also gives 88 crit damage in general. So, oh my god, this looks like probably the most broken weapon in this entire game. I'm telling you that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely going to be pulling for this weapon because it's just too broken. Now, you can also give her Nouvelette's weapon called Tome of the Eternal Flow. Again, this weapon also gives you 88.2 crit damage, which is absolutely huge. And HP is also increased by 16%. This weapon, you would preferably want to run it in like a Bloom team where her HP decreases or increases constantly. Or you can run her with Farina. But basically, this weapon gives you 14% charged attack damage, so you can actually use that for the charged attack that uses Verdant Dews that I talked about at the beginning of the video. That one also scales with HP. This weapon will give that part of her kit more damage, and it also helps with restoring some energy. So if you have this weapon and you plan on making Columbina your main DPS, then it's also a good option. Now, you can also use some of the HP stat sticks, but these ones are not as good as her signature. Now, the following two weapons you can only use in Lunar Bloom teams. That is Night Weaver's Looking Glass and Reliquary of Truth. Laoma's weapon gives you a bunch of elemental mastery that you can use for Lunar Bloom. Nefer's weapon gives you a lot of crit damage, again 88.2. It also gives you some crit rate, more EM, and because you're constantly using Lunar Bloom, it will also buff your crit damage by 24%. And when you're activating all of the weapon's effects, the weapon can boost all these buffs by 50%. So yeah, these weapons are very good if you are using Columbina as a drive in a Lunar Bloom team. So it's definitely good if you have them. In terms of 4-star weapons, she actually has a ton of options, but I'm just going to list a few. Prototype Hambar is one of her best ones because not only does it heal you, but it also helps with energy recharge. Speaking of energy recharge, Favonia's Codex is always a good weapon to have, especially in a team that is demanding of a lot of energy recharge. And if you are free to play, or if you're just new to the game, you are in extreme luck because both in artifacts and in weapons, she is very blessed because you can run arguably one of the best free weapons in the entire game called Thrilling Tales of the Dragon Slayer, which is just completely busted in every way you can possibly imagine. It gives her HP, buffs the entire team, and overall a great weapon to have. Now, the following weapons are also great to have. I'm going to put them on the screen here for you. So it all depends on what you want for Columbina and how you plan on using her. Moving on to teams. Now, Columbina is going to mainly have 3 different teams. The first team she's going to have is a Lunar Crystallized team. If you don't know what Lunar Crystallize is, I will make a YouTube short about Lunar Crystallize and all the other Lunar reactions shortly. So if you haven't done so, please subscribe and turn on the notifications if you want to be kept up to date. The first team I will recommend you try out is the Lunar Crystallize team. If you are pulling for Zubai, then she is going to be great for Columbina because she is also a Lunar Crystallized driver or Lunar Crystallized DPS. So I would say go for Zubai if you're interested. And if you're also interested in Eluga or Itlua, who is also going to be buffing Lunar Crystallized damage, then I would suppose you use Zubai, Columbina, Eluga, and Goro. Now you can easily use Goro or you can swap him with Kachina, because I would argue that Kachina is a lot easier to build since her artifacts domain is a net positive for your account, especially if you have Natlan characters. But if you do not plan on pulling on Zubai, then you can also use this free-to-play team with Ningguang, Columbina, either Eluga or Kachina, and Goro. Now, you do not have to use Goro, you can use any Hydro character that you have on your team, for example, Zincho, Barbara, or literally anyone else. So yeah, that's that for Lunar Crystallize. Again, you can also use Ito as your main DPS, Navia as your main DPS. The world is literally yours. And if you guys care about attack speed, then you can use Dahlia or Yunjin on your team, or any other Hydro or Geo character that provides attack speed. If you have C6 Candace, you can also use her for the teams, because she can also provide some off-field Hydro application. And remember guys, Lunar reactions don't really care if you bring another element on the team. So if you feel like bringing Bennett, you can also bring Bennett. Or if you want some extra damage from off-field, you can bring someone like Mawika or Jianyun. Anyone that can provide damage from a field is also a net benefit for your team. But do keep in mind guys that you do need Ascendant Gleam, which means that you need at least 2 characters from Nordcry on your team if you want Columbina's area of effect to be larger. As for Lunar Charged, the same concept applies. You can also use Flynn's, Enefa, Columbina, and Fischl. You can also replace Fischl with Sucrose. I think Sucrose is actually better than Fischl because Sucrose will actually give you more EM. And she will also give you some of that VV shreds that everyone loves. If you want an F2P team for Lunar Charged, you can use any Electro DPS that is a 4-star with Columbina, Aino, Fischl, or again, Sucrose. Again, if you want another teammate to carry you from off-field, you can also do that. The choice is absolutely yours. Lunar teams are extremely versatile. Moving on to Lunar Bloom. Again, the choices are literally everywhere. But the main team I would say would be Nefa, Columbina, Lauma, and Nilu. Nilu, if you have the key of Kajni suit, would be a great addition to this team. Or you can just use Nahida instead of Nilu. Again, Nahida's weapon is extremely busted as well, so either one would work perfectly. You can also do Lauma, Columbina, Nilu, and Nahida in the same team. But keep in mind you will not have any healers, so I would say bring a prototype Hamba if you have. Or if you have Lauma's Constellation 1, then she's also very good. Now, we already know that Neuvillette gets a buff every single patch, so you better believe he's also going to get one this patch with Columbina, because his Dendro teams just got a lot better. You can run Neuvillette, Columbina, Lauma, Baiju, or if you want to run an up to F2P team, you can run Dendro Traveler, Columbina, Jin Xiao, and or Aino. Again guys, the possibilities are practically endless, and I can't wait to see what teams that you guys have come up with. I am extremely excited for Columbina. I mean, she looks absolutely gorgeous. Her animations are stunning, the way she walks is stunning. Hoyoverse really went all out with this character, and I cannot wait to pull for her. Let me know down below which teams you're going to use if you're going to pull for Columbina. And if you want me to make a guide on any other character, again, the choice is completely yours. Again guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. This is very important for the algorithm. and make sure to follow me on my other socials as well, where I make Genshin Impact content. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Peace.